Two fabulous Liverpool supporters as well. Mr. Jack Mack LFC from Anfield Road TV. How are you, mate?
Much better, as we were saying in the green new mate. Liverpool winning an away game, which is a rare anomaly. But yeah, much better. Apologies, Carl, but we'll probably obviously speak about Leeds this season. I'm very concerned from a neutral standpoint. But from a Liverpool point of view, as we'll speak about in tonight's episode, mate, superb. Curtis Jones, my man in a match by a bloody country mile.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous performance by the young lad.
He was very, very good. And we've also been joined by Mr. Kev from Spiral LFC, and also a new channel that is coming to as well, the Kitmen. How are you, mate?
I'm good, dude. And don't forget, Jack is part of that Kitman as well. So we're
of course,
there. So, yeah.
Of course.
We're, yeah. Look, we've had our fair share of bad results this season. We've had our fair share of dealing with dips, fatigue, lack of interest in games. Lads not stepping up when they were being relied upon, letting other teammates down that have stepped up in games and haven't done it. Andy Robertson is a key component in that because he's been let down so much this season by the teammates around him that when he started playing badly because of just sheer tiredness towards the end of the season, the fingers were getting pointed at him. Nobody stepped in and said, whatever. So, I mean, our players have to take responsibility. And in fairness, in the last few weeks, I know the United result was great. The Bournemouth result was terrible. The City result was terrible. Chelsea, we looked like we were getting back a bit of composure, but no, we still weren't getting our goal scoring nous back. Arsenal, then we just looked brilliant in the second half. And I was just like, wait, are we just woken up? Is it going to be like 2021 all over again? Are we going to just like see a Liverpool side that just decides to go for it for the last 9 games of the season? And it's kind of showing it tonight that we are waking up and we do have a job to do. And I think because of the results that have gone our way with Newcastle losing heavily to Villa, and the fact that United still aren't there, no matter even if they're beating a lowly Forest that are kind of safe almost at the moment. They're just a couple of results away from being safe for me. And even though they're in a bad position for themselves, I still think that Everton, Southampton, and Leicester seems to go down for me. As bad as Leeds were tonight, and as bad as Leeds were last week, I still think that going forward, they can annoy a lot of teams that don't give them enough respect. And I think they can tear them apart. But I just think that we've learned our lesson from what happened with the Somerville goal early in the season. For me, Everton, Southampton, Leicester to go down in that way. I think Bournemouth will survive because they've got that that buzz about them. Fulham are already there, and I think for Liverpool going forward, we just have to stay. I was saying on Jack's channel before as well, and we were saying on the Kitman as well, that we just have to stay in tandem with Aston Villa in their results.
Yeah.
If we stay in tandem with Aston Villa, we're 2 games behind them, and we've 2 games in hand in them. And now this goal difference is huge as well. We still have to play Villa, but Villa have just beaten Newcastle, have to play United, have to play Spurs around us, have to do all of that and still go for top 4 themselves. That's just a blessing to Liverpool, to be honest with you, because I think that if we just beat them, we're already 3 points ahead of them. Even if we lose a game and they come up the goal differences there, and I think that Newcastle and United start feeling the pinch fairly soon. I think United will get it, but I still think Newcastle will pop out into Europa League spots.
Yeah, I think so as well. Let me just say hello to everyone who is in the chat as well. Mark Forrest is on. What a mediocre score that was. Missed these kind of games. I have as well. Maybe you're back. Unlike us 3 defeats, as Mo Salah is finding form, yes, and good to see Diogo Jota back in the goals tonight as well. It's about time. Yeah, not a bad game. Glad Diaz had some time. Yeah, Mark saying why are we always waiting on Jack? Jordan Purcell says hi. Great game. I can sleep in peace. Good night, Douglas in chat. I still think based on expectations, Chelsea and Liverpool have had the most disappointing season based on their expectations. I will get into the chat very, very soon as well. But Carl, when you obviously before the game started, Sky did actually put up this stat. Now this is Liverpool's records against the non-top 6 away from home before tonight. So look at that. 3-0 Brighton, 3-1 Brentford, 2-2 Fulham, 0-0 against Chelsea Crystal Palace, 3-0 against Wolves, 1-0 Bournemouth, 0-0 against Everton, and then 1-0 against Nottingham Forest. Now, looking at that, Carl, you would think, oh yeah, we've got a good opportunity tonight.
Yeah, well, that's what majority of the Leeds has thought, because Liverpool's way for that they've not been good enough against really good teams that have been pressing them with counter attacking. And to quite honest with you, I think after pretty much we thought we could go to this game with a bit of confidence. I know Liverpool will expect we're going to see the Liverpool of the second half. Or the first half, or the Liverpool that's been losing away from home constantly this season, and I think we've seen the second half against the second half team that came back against Arsenal. And to quite honest with you, it surprised. It was the manner result what disappointed us, because we just opened the gates to you guys completely. I think for the first goal, I don't know what third, but it was a bad touch. He needed to clear the ball properly. And I think it was surprised that we didn't get the handball, because Trent did actually move his arm a bit to just a bit when the ball was back to go onto the other half. He blocked the handball, showed the handball, but the referee, the VAR was very consistent. They checked it and said, "Oh, it goes a lot," and that is very surprising. I thought that.
Yeah, you spot on there, Carl. For me, that wasn't. I was very surprised watching it with my dad. I was very surprised it was given. The only reason. Because obviously, I think the rule is if they can rule that out if the fella, obviously, that puts the ball in the back, and say Gakpo puts that in with his arm. I think it's only the goal scorer. It's a weird rule, but for me, I was very surprised that was given, mate. I was expecting to get this allowed.
It was a weird one, because all day long you'd look at it and think it was a handball, and I've seen a couple of those this season where they've turned on and said it, and then I've had another look at it, even for opposition teams I hate, and I'm like, no, that's not a handball. Reason being is that Trent's head was actually turning to where the ball was going, so he didn't see it, but even though his hand came out, he was doing it as a protection
It was
measure.
the initial flick.
So, everybody thinks that because the hand came out that it was going to be a handball, but actually the referee and the VAR have had a look, and Trent was actually looking where he thought the ball was going to go. So he wasn't in control of where he thought, like, if he was going to block the ball, he would have brought it up this way and tried to block it, but he didn't. He just kind of turned, and as he turned, his arm came out.
Yeah.
It was the same motion, so it looked like he was kind of a half blocking it. He was actually turning at the same time. So look, it was for me. I would nip those kind of goals in the bud and just kind of say, all right, so if it's going to be a handball, be consistent all around. But it was within his silhouette. Yeah. He was on the turn, and then they just went with the letter of the law. So yeah.
And that's what we want, isn't it? It's consistency from referees. But the worrying thing I look at Leeds, Carl, when you concede, you always seem to have a tendency to then go on and concede again. Is this a real worry now for the rest of the season, that if you go behind, you're likely to concede not just one, just maybe two, maybe 3+?
This has been ongoing since the majority of last season. This has been an issue from majority of last season. We've had this issue, and this is an issue we're not able to cut it out. We'd still not cut it out for some obvious reason. I don't know if it's mentally or physical mind, but the point is we've just been having this issue for a season, over a season, nearly 2 seasons now, and that needs to change. And we should have thought about after what we lost against Spurs. I thought that would be the turning point. I said, no, let's get ourselves together. Let's get up. But every time it was this first goal, we knew our heads was going to drop down, and it did, and it just certainly did with this one. I don't know how, in a way, in a fashion, with this like heads drops again. I think I didn't see other players going to each other and say, look, what are you doing? I didn't see none of them. I didn't see none do that. They just walk back and it's like, well, let's just go again. I'm like, no, there needs to be someone shouting at them, and we don't have that. Actually, we know Liam Cooper is a captain. I don't think he'll be there at the end of the season. I think he will go because I think of his age. So there's gonna have to be new leadership going into. And I think what happened with Ayla last weekend, glad we didn't pay him tonight because he was woeful last weekend. I love Luke Ayling, but he was woeful last week against Crystal Palace. But that's why I think there was some. It just case we just not that leadership of to say, look, push it, let's get your shit together. There was no shouting at communication from anyone tonight. There really wasn't.
Yeah, and I mean the second goal as well, Jack. I mean, it's a fantastic finish from Mohamed Salah, but I think the big credit has to go to Diogo Jota for his part in that goal.
Yeah, the movement was absolutely exceptional, really. There's bloody many goals. Struggling me to remember it, but like, yeah, it was a lovely, well worked goal. Salah being in the right moment at the right time, but yeah, the attacking fluidity from Liverpool tonight was absolutely exceptional. I was saying to my dad, probably all of us, really going, bloody hell, where's this Liverpool team been all season? And we'll speak about the players that come off the bench, and you're like, oh. But yeah, exceptional work. Jota, I think we can all agree, started the game absolutely appalling. The man couldn't he couldn't even string 5 to 10 passes together. But hence is probably what we all done watching that game. Bloody hell, Jota, what are you doing? And then obviously he turned it round and he played much better. But it's amazing what confidence does to teams. Like, as soon as we got a couple of those goals, Jota, Gakpo, but that's life. Like, these players aren't human, similar with the Leeds players as well. Like, it's when you're in such a negative period, it's so difficult to come out of. And we can very much relate to that, Carl. In recent months, we're watching our team not really putting in the hard yards. And you're shaking your head going, come on, boys. And as the games are gradually ticking away, fortunate enough for Liverpool, we've had Alisson. And if it wasn't for Alisson this season, we'd probably be down there anyway. But it's eventually the penny has to drop with this Leeds team. But for me, mate, they need to start battling.
I know.
The games are disappearing quick.
This is the thing, right, Jack? This is the thing. 20 of our 29 points have come at home this season. 9 points has only been away from home. We've a very, very poor record, along with likes of Liverpool. Very poor, very poor. But this is the problem. I don't know how we can get. We got to go to Bournemouth, Fulham, and Bournemouth in the next two, three games. And this is the thing: if we can't defend, if we cannot defend, we keep defending like we have been doing. I think it's going to be those last 4 games we have with Newcastle, Man City, West Ham, and Spurs. This is going to be another situation that we cannot ship goals like this, and I don't know where the stops. And we still have in a way a championship defense, which is it's still a lagging issue. There's no, yes, we've spent money on some good, decent players, but they're not championship quality. They're not Premier League quality in my eyes, and I think this is the problem. Max Werber was missed, and he was the only one that was keeping things goals was not leaking until his injury came out, and that's why we've been so much leaking, because he was the one who was kind of sparing that defense on, saying, look, and that's what was the difference. And bottom matter, the fact is, he has to be fit for Saturday against Fulham now, because that is now a really, really, really must-win game, because look at how Bob have done this season and what a huge turnaround they've had. And with the other teams as well, with all the bottom 3 teams losing this past weekend as well, I don't see any of them where they're going to get points from. We got these 3 big games where we see our point, where we need to get our points. We need to start getting the engines going, because that relegation probability is increasing day by day.
It's sorry there, boys. I'm made up that they filmed the executive box for the Leeds owners. Like, ridiculous decision. Whatever anyone thinks about Jesse March, you don't sack your manager with like 10 games to go or whatever.
I know.
Like,
listen, he should have been sacked during the World Cup. That's something that should have happened. But when you sack him after the January 23rd, that was crazy. And we had to wait. We couldn't get the managers that we wanted. We couldn't get Andrew Slot. We were looking at the former Ajax coach that was very hated by the former players, and also it was just like, and then we got Aaron Garcia. Yes, he got did well before the last 2 games. We just capitulated. I just question is it a bit too late? you see what was Chris Boston. They're not being too late because got Roy Hodgson, who playing round ball for crying out loud.
Well, Chris Ross has actually asked a very good question here. Are you worried about Leeds' safety?
I don't know. I to be frankly honest, I don't really know what to think about. If I'm worried.
I mean, the thing is, Kev says that he thinks that Leeds will stay up. Jack, are you confident with Leeds staying up?
No. Watching that game when we got to 2-0, I was saying to my dad, like, I know I was joking about it before we come on here, but Liverpool have been absolutely shocking. And it's similar with Leicester as well. I've watched a couple of Leicester games last couple of weeks, and teams are just running through Leicester. And if Liverpool turned up a couple of the gears tonight, it was lucky it was only 6, but very concerned. Leeds, as we already said, they need to actually show a lot more character because the games are running away fast, especially for Liverpool top 4. But
we was in this situation where we thought the games were fast and towards the last season. We really did. And this is the same scenario again. Listen, I don't know what to think of. I don't know what my dad's thinking at the moment. He must have still got 7 games to go, but I do agree with him to a certain point. But in a way, I don't know what to think of our defense at the moment. I think I'm taking this game by game at the moment, and that is the only way I'm going to have to do it now because I can't think of games ahead. I'm going to have to take game by game now with Leeds at the moment, which I've been doing for the last season and a half.
It's always when you don't score goals as well, nice and chat. Yeah. If you're down there and you're not scoring goals, obviously Joe. I'm guessing Joe Gelhardt's injured, is he?
No, he's at Sunderland. He's been scoring in good form at Sunderland.
That's mad. Why is he gone?
I have no idea why you let him go.
I tell you why we let him go. Because when we bought Rutter from Hoffenheim, he dropped down. And I think that was the issue. He was not going to play time. But I question that he would have still got playing time and he would have made a difference. Yeah. And I think he might would have worked better on the grass here. I really would have really agree. But Jesse March decided, someone from the board, and Jesse March decided he goes a lot. And that surprised me because look what he's doing at Sunderland at the moment. He is scoring goals, which is a bit surprising. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, 2-0 at half-time, Kev. The one thing you don't do straight after half-time is concede. And again, we've been enemies of our own downfall yet again. Kanai, really bad error, and it gives Sinistra a very good finish.
Well, like I've been saying this since like I don't know how long now. I don't know how anybody hasn't noticed that the first 12 minutes of the second half has been our worst period in most games. We've gone down at least 2 goals against Real Madrid in that period. We've gone down against Brentford. We've gone down against Brighton. We've gone down against what was the most recent? City. Straight after halftime, after getting back on level terms. Yeah, after they got back on level terms, we were grand. It was 1-1. And straight away, another 2 goals after halftime in that 12-minute period. It's been our weakest point in the whole season. And I think that Klopp is actually focused on it a bit too much, that the lads are actually dwelling on it a small bit. So when you see Kanate like gifting away like stupid, I think it's our most unconscious period as a team. We're not paying attention to what we're doing. We're not doing anything. It's like we come out and we're like, oh no, we're ready to go for the second half. You can see it against City. It was 1-1 and we were out and ready to go, and then all of a sudden, within a few minutes, we're down 2-3 goals, and that was it. The game over. See you later. The next half an hour, there's nothing to watch really. We're just hoping that we can get another goal back. It's just been terrible.
I like that mentality though, Kev and lads. Like our heads could have absolutely gone, and Leeds could have got back into that game. Like we didn't let our heads switch off because it could have easily happened. We've seen so many teams do that, and obviously the intensity with the crowd back on song as well. But Liverpool had a lot more control in the game, and that's one thing Liverpool have been missing for the last couple of months. Regardless of whoever you're playing, the opposition standard or level, you need control within a game, especially in the Premier League.
100%. 100%. Jersey Boy, I do apologise. I have actually missed your comment. I'm just going to send you the link now. And also, Luke from 1892 Reds, you are more than welcome to come on, my friend, as well.
Got me to invite Luke. If you want.
If you can actually, I've got 1892 Reds on. I'll actually do that. Anyway, but yeah, third goal.
Was that Luke, or was that the guy that I normally carry on Call of Duty? Ricky, is it? Was that Luke?
The third goal, Kev, great play from Curtis Jones, fantastic play, and again, we all say it, when you need a man, and when a player is not in the best of form, when Jota got that ball, I thought, he's gonna do something. He's gonna put it wide. He's gonna lash at it. Fair play to him. He hasn't scored in a year, but that goal will give him the world of confidence.
A goal scorer can put those goals away, can put those balls away as long as they get the right ball. And the problem is we haven't received the lads haven't received balls like that in quite a while. And actually, even saying that, Curtis Jones could have put away almost a carbon copy of that goal just before. It was like 2 minutes to go, and he had an opportunity to do it himself. For me, Salah got 2 goals. Gakpo got a goal. Jota got 2 goals, and like he did improve himself throughout the game. But for me, by a country mile, Curtis Jones is man in the match tonight. He completely controlled that game. He was so good.
Kev? Was it that fair goal was it that goal where he just plays the through ball?
Oh yeah, he dropped that, swerved it around him. That was the third goal. That was game over for them. Like, I mean, they had just gone up 2 minutes earlier and pulled the goal back, and like within less than 3 minutes, he was up there playing a ball like that. And like he could have played it straight through to Gakpo or even to the right to Mo Salah, who was running into like his normal danger zone, who would have had a lot to do, but he spotted that Diogo Jota was running on his own, and it was the most perfect of passes. Like you would have said, like, oh, did he underplay it? Did he overplay it? Was it overplayed and Jota controlled it? No, it was absolutely spot on, and he just slotted it home then into the corner. It was just such a good goal. It's ridiculous.
Deserves his flowers because, as Rob said in the comments there,
he was man of the match for me.
Yeah, he shut a lot of people up anyway. I know everyone's got the thoughts, of course, but we're seeing the benefit and factor over last, especially tonight, when he plays a consistent run of games. Yes, you can talk about the opposition, but at the end of the day, that's what Curtis Jones is good at in terms of tight spaces. He's got that ability on the ball, especially when he's played for England. And what we're saying.
See the benefit. You can see the benefit. You can see the benefit from it, Jack, because with Trent moving up into that midfield role that he keeps dropping into now, that deeper, like he's playing as number 6 today. Fabinho was
I've sent you the link on. I've sent you the link on the. Oh, there he is. There he is. I was wondering if he was. I was wondering if he was there.
Fabinho was playing higher up the pitch than him, Jack, today, and you know that's how good that Trent. He released everybody on that left hand side. What Trent was, the way Trent's been playing recently, he's released everybody on that left hand side, and all our danger came down that side. Like today, and it's been something that I wanted to see from Gakpo on that left hand side in Curtis Jones's position that he was playing today. But if Curtis Jones keeps playing like that, then absolutely keep him on, because everybody was talking about him leaving. But if that's what he can produce when he's released, in a more free role, then albeit. But I still think he's going to be, or he could be our Divock Origi of the midfield, really. Unless he can own it himself, but I mean that's how beneficial Divock Origi was for us as a striker, coming on, important goals, not doing the best if he starts, but still important goals. But that Curtis Jones could easily be that player, or he can take a step up and actually be the player we all think he can be.
What an arc that would be! It'd be like a villain arc for everyone on Twitter, wouldn't it?
I'd love to see it.
They'd have to delete a lot of tweets, wouldn't they? So yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Good evening to Jersey Boy, and also good evening to Luke. How are we both?
How are we? All good. Not too bad. Obviously, I've had a bit of a day, and obviously seeing Liverpool rack up 6 goals tonight. I mean, to be fair, I didn't see that 6-1 coming. I know Leeds. I know Leeds are shocking at home. Like, the defensive record is poor, but I didn't expect 6 goals. I mean, I did feel we'd win the game by a couple of goals, but I didn't think seeing that. But I mean, what a performance from Spider and Jack, and obviously yourself, Doug. Curtis Jones tonight. That was probably one of his best games in a Liverpool shirt. He really controlled the game from start to finish. What I liked about his performance, apart from his assist for the 3rd goal, I felt that the energy in midfield was back. I felt that there was a lot of work off the ball. Leeds were trying really hard in the first half I felt we were quite safe in the first half of our passes. We didn't really sort of do too much with it. But when we did lose the ball, I think that was where you saw the best of Curtis Jones throughout the game. I think he was just alert on every second ball, every sort of second or third sort of phase that Leeds were trying to do to hit us on a break. And the pass to Jota to finally get his goal, just topped off a great performance from him. And lots of other positives tonight. I mean, apart from the 3 points, to see Luis Diaz back in a Liverpool shirt,
yes,
with 15 minutes to play. Obviously, didn't really get too much involved, but we didn't really think at that point we didn't obviously need it. We just wanted to see him on a football pitch and see him back. For 6 months to be out is massive for us before the end of the season. Obviously, Trent, true to his word at the start of the season to Darwin Nunez, how may I assist you? Brilliant finish as well from Darwin Nunez. But we just got to keep cracking on. We've got Nottingham Forest at the weekend. Tottenham play Newcastle. Funny things happen. I'm not saying we're in this top 4 race, but after the next 2 or 3 games, if we can pick up wins,
if we get into
if we can pick up wins, and funny things this season have happened.
Well, look, you're nailing it right in the head there. I go back to 21 season, and there was like 8 games to go, and we were 10 points behind. You go back to 10 games, and there was 14 points behind, 14 to 16 points behind, and we did it with Phillips and bloody Reese in the defense. So yeah,
I still think it's a tough.
Possible.
It's still definitely a tough ask, mate. I mean,
oh yeah,
we got to look. Obviously, Newcastle.
We're trying to be realistic, but try not to plant our faces. I get it, but I'm optimistic.
I mean, Newcastle play Spurs at the weekend. We play Nottingham Forest. Then we've got Tottenham at home. So for me, they're 2 massive games going into this race. But funny things happen.
Absolutely, Jersey boy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I thought today was really just. I don't know if anyone noticed, but at some point in the game, it looked like we played 3-4-3 with Robbo playing left centre back. And how long have we been asking Klopp to play a bloody back 3, and he's finally done it? I don't think it's a back 3 properly. I think it's a back 3 doing possession, and then you switch back to back 4.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think Trent was playing midfield. I think he was playing like he's playing like inverted wing back.
Yeah, it's like
and
a sweeper
he switches to the 6, where Henderson plays right back, and then allows him. But here's a stat which I think is ridiculous. Trent Alexander today had 153 touches. That's the second most touches for any player in the Premier League this season in one game.
It's amazing.
153 touches.
Who was the first somebody in City?
Kevin De Bruyne.
Probably Kevin.
Yeah, I was thinking
probably
De Bruyne. Yeah,
probably De Bruyne. But listen, it was interesting to see the back 3 stuff. I think this is the way he's got to keep this moving forward, because I don't think Trent's a right back, but I also think that he brings a lot of right backs, so maybe this kind of system works. And I think if we get a better midfielder than Henderson to drop back into that right back position for next season, we'll get much better. Also, Curtis Jones, that's like his 4th game now. I think he's been playing really well. I think for the rest of the season, our midfield 3 should be Fabinho, even though I think he's been crap again today. But we've got no other CDM. So I'll go Fabinho, Thiago Jones, rest of the season. And I think 4-3 was fantastic. I think Klopp, I've got to give credit to Klopp for finally, after all these issues, changing this system. We've now gone to 4-3-3 that switches to 3-4-3 doing possession, where Trent plays as a 6, and it works. Yeah. Don't change it, Klopp. Don't change it.
Yeah.
I've got to say, as well, we will go back to the first goal, because I'm really glad Luke is here, because he is actually a referee. So we will go back to that first goal, because we know that Mr. Luke here had a bit of a debate with a lot of people on Twitter. Just tell us from your view about the first goal.
I mean, the debate, whether I'm right or wrong, but from what I understand,
I've missed this as well.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, he uses his arm to his advantage. For me, it's handball. But because, from what I understand, because it doesn't lead to an immediate goal from Trent, it becomes a new phase of play, which obviously he passes to Salah. Salah then plays it to Trent. There's already 2 phases done. Then obviously Trent plays it across goal for Gakpo. It's to tap him. In my opinion, if you're going by the laws of the game, there's nothing wrong with it because it's not an immediate effect. It's not an immediate goal. For me, in my opinion, it goes down on the referee and the assistant referee again, not getting the right decision. For me, Trent uses his arm to control the ball. He uses. We all know if it's in an unnatural position, if he's making his body bigger. But that then for me, because of there's the 2 or 3 phases of play later on, for me that's poor officiating. Again, from the assistant referee is in a good view compared to the referee. He can get in his earpiece or buzz him on the flag because they've got like the buzzer flags. So like if the referee misses it, they can buzz him, say you've missed an handball. Or for me, that's down to the referee. The VAR can't get involved with it because, as I mentioned before, it's not an immediate.
What about his
Declan Rice yesterday as well, boys, in the lead up to that Arsenal goal. I think he handballed it, and I don't know if that.
They got a penalty.
Yeah.
So. But what about the fact that when Trent even puts his elbow out, he's in the middle of a turn. His head actually turns away from the ball, and I think that's when they looked at it exactly. They're like, "What was Trent doing in that split second? His head turned, but his elbow came out." Which is a natural position for a turn. And that's probably what if he didn't turn his head, I think that goal is disallowed. But if he turns his head going that way, I think it's you could put it up to like Bobby Firmino no look goal, as in no look handball, you know. But
if it's Man City, you get away with that.
I mean, I'm not being funny. You see what happened at the weekend. I mean, Maguire literally punched it away from his goal, and the VAR didn't get involved. But I mean, that's from what I understand. Obviously, because there's another 2 or 3 phases of play after it's happened, it then goes down to a poor referee decision at the end of the day. I mean, to be honest, in the last 5 to 6 years, there's been over 300 to 400 different law changes around not just handball, but offside, everything else. So they can't get it right anyway. But Jack, you made a good point with the Declan Rice one. I mean, see if it did hit his arm or if it's obviously hit his chest. But obviously, from the build up to it, West Ham have won a penalty, so they've not scored. But again, it just goes down to the standard of refereeing. Again,
do you think it matters if? I think if this was like a 2-1 game, then it probably would matter.
Yeah,
the fact that it was 6-1 and we could have scored more, I don't think it matters that much. No, I think.
I mean, obviously 6-1, but I don't think. I think second half Liverpool come out a much better team, and obviously they threw away a goal in the end. That's the downside of tonight. They obviously gifted Leeds a goal, and it was a good finish from Sinistera. But I still don't believe it would have changed the outcome of the game tonight. But for me, Doug, definitely should have been a handball, and it shouldn't have stood. But we take him, innit?
I think it was handball as well, but but then we obviously do make it 3-1. But actually, Carl, you did actually have another chance. Aronson had a very good opportunity. He did hit the top of the crossbar, which was a very, very good effort. I thought. I do have to ask you this though, Patrick Bamford, another injury.
Yeah.
Can you rely on Patrick Bamford for the rest of the season?
No, 100% no. I don't think we can compared to what we was last season. I don't think we can now. I think we're in a situation that his calf injuries is going to be his history. Is catching him up. I just think there is a chance now that he's not going to be the main striker now towards the next 7 games. I don't think he will do. I think we'll have to focus on Rodrigo now to get the goals for us. I think Bamford, with his injuries, it's been an issue. It's been an issue for quite a while. And I don't know. I think the question of Rutter's not had a former games where he's not even had a chance to score any goals. And also because we've let Gerhardt go, which was the disappointing thing, I think Gerhardt would have been a difference. But people will look at Gerhardt's form. And I think the question is as well, Dan James was at Fulham. And there was a reason why there was a falling out with Jesse Marsch. He scores against Everton this past weekend. And there's been talks about him coming back if we're where we are. But there has been talks about that. Doug, when you said a couple months ago about he signed permanently. He never signed permanently with Fulham. That was not the case. He is still on loan. There's a chance that he will come back to.
Oh wow!
There's a chance he will do, because there has been a few talks the last couple of weeks that he might come back. And I don't think, so because he's not had a good time at Fulham, so there's a chance he might be coming back. So for that matter, is the question is with Bamford's injury. I think we will have to move Bamford on. I think we may have to move Bamford on this summer. I think we will have to, regardless of where we're going to be next season.
Where does he go?
Kev is waiting to say a big stat. Go on then.
Right. So if I was to ask you who was your second choice for man in the match tonight, who would it be?
God's sake.
Salah and Jones. Salah and
No,
Jones.
just because of him. Okay. Salah and Jones. Okay, so okay. Let's disregard Salah. He always scores goals. Who else would be your man in the match for improvement?
Gakpo.
Jota.
Yeah, Cody.
I'd
Cody.
have gone Jota.
Okay, so Jersey. Yeah, okay. So Luke said Jota. Jersey boy said Jota. What if I told you how many times did Jota lose that ball in the first half alone?
Yeah, I have to agree.
A million.
15.
Yeah.
It was exactly 15. Well done, Jersey boy. You're looking at it. You're looking it up. It was 15 times he lost the ball in the first half. He lost possession, which made Fabinho look terrible because everybody was giving out about how bad Fabinho was. But in the positions that Jota was losing the ball, it was leaving Fabinho open to be counter-attacked on either pass on either side, and he didn't know what to do. So it made Fabinho look terrible for every single time that Jota lost the ball.
Yeah.
And that would tell
we've said over the years, haven't we? I think the last 2 or 3 years. Like one thing I will agree with Ricky. I think Fabinho's done a 3-man job in midfield for the last couple of years, and I think we've kind of like sort of what's the word, burned him out, sort of thing. And now like he's getting some poorer performances. Yeah, and that's it. He needs help, and I agree with that stuff. I think, to be fair, first 20 minutes,
imagine
like the amount of times Jota lost the ball, I was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But
Imagine Barella or McAllister on either side of Fabinho, and you've got yourself a settling midfield with a 2-man midfield. You might have to go 3 at the back. You could probably switch to 4-2-3-1, turn that into a 2-5, whatever going forward, and just destroy teams again.
I still think he's finished though, boys. Like, I was banging my head against a brick wall tonight. I was like, "What are you doing, Fab?" Like,
I want to see him for 6 months with a competent player next to him. To be honest with you, and I think with Trent helping him, he's been better.
Just on Fabinho, if he gets booked against Nottingham Forest, he will get a 2-match ban because that was his 9th booking this evening. So he will get a 2-match ban if he does get booked against.
Was that 9 in a row? Because I felt like it was 9 in a row. Yeah. Every time he's taking something out, it looks like it's 9 in a row. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. We thought we did actually make it 4-1 because we actually did have the ball in the net. Salah did actually have the ball in the net. Lovely free kick from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Van Dijk heads it across, and then Salah puts it in the net. But again, it's that thing, Jack, isn't it? It's armpits again. It's just ridiculous.
It must have been a Manchester United fan on VAR that I thought that was going to be getting given. Because the only team that dislikes Leeds is Man United.
2/3.
I know.
So, like, it was very strange. Like, all of us watching that were like, "That's off." But even was it one of Liverpool's goals? It was Darwin Núñez. For some reason, you were checking the centre half. Firpo, like, literally turning a bit below. Like, why are you zooming in? You zoom in on the left back. They don't. I don't know.
No point zooming on Firpo because Firpo will just keep one of your points outside.
The thing is, they put the camera literally. They put the camera literally on Firpo and they tried everything to go. No. Let's have a look at the defender that Darwin's got.
No. There's no point looking at Firpo. There's no point looking at Firpo, right? He's a free liability which we can't trust. So
I get Alberto Moreno vibes from Firpo. In all honesty.
Oh Christ. Alberto Moreno. We did then make it 4-1, and I have to say, Luke, fantastic play from Robertson to Jota to Gakpo to Salah. Fantastic finish as well.
The finish is fantastic. To be honest, I was a bit wound up that Gakpo actually passed it. I thought he could have had a shot on goal. Obviously, there was 2 players coming in towards him. Obviously, Firpo to Cole's obviously pleasure. But obviously seeing Salah get the first touch was brilliant. And obviously, it's a Mo Salah finish. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes obviously you see him sort of snap at it and it goes sort of towards the near post, but the confidence Salah was in tonight, he took his first goal really well, and the second goal, I mean, yeah, that's the Mo Salah we all love to see. And you know what? It's
He was
I
tucked
felt
inside,
as well
Luke,
as
wasn't he? He was tucked inside. He didn't go outside that often. He didn't go
no,
to the
not
wing
at
that
all.
often.
Yeah,
And that's where you see him at his best.
And I think as well, like I mean, I know he didn't have one today, but you know, he's missed his last 2 penalties as well. Definitely that would have been on his mind as well. Sometimes, even when you miss a penalty, all right, it's not in open play, but you have chances. You will have chances throughout the game that, you know, like you may not have the confidence as much when you're going through towards goal. And yeah, he took his chances really well. And I think that was Jurgen Klopp said after the game, that's probably one of our best performances of the season. And right, you look at the 7-0. I think United I think that was probably, apart from Kanate's shocker in the second half, that probably was our best performance, especially in the second half.
It's that touch as well. Just literally just watched the Gak goal back, the composure that Gakpo shows on that build up to amazing close control. But that touch from Salah, he just makes things look world class. It's that tight control, a slight touch ahead of him, just whacks it. He is the magician.
And that's why Leeds were looking to get with it in the summer transfer deadline day before we got Ngonto. And I think he probably was the right thing. Ngonto was better. We didn't know if Gakpo would have gone, but I think he's the right fit for you guys at the moment. You didn't need a rejuvenation up front, and he's that magician that club needs at the moment.
I think as well. I think going forward, I think Leeds need to keep going on to fit.
Don't know why he was on the bench.
Why was he on the bench tonight?
Because he came back because he was still injured after when he was due to the game against England in the qualifiers. So he got injured in that game, and there was questions about his fitness. Werber also came back from the international duty injured as well. So both of those players were on the bench. I thought both of them could have, one or two of them, or both of them could have started tonight. I thought they could have done. I think we could have gave Jeremy the fair a break because he had an awful game last weekend, but we didn't. So it was a risk. It was a risk that we could have taken, but we didn't. But we hope both those players will be fit this weekend against Fulham.
And also, Mo Salah has broken yet another record. He has now scored 107 goals with his left foot, overtaking Robbie Fowler in the all-time records for left-footed strikes. So again, that was very, very good. Davison, tell me why I do like Mondays.
I like Mark's comment there, but if you take Mark's comment into context, right, where he says that I think that Villa may secure top 4. Imagine this way: we just have to go on par with Aston Villa, point for point, for the rest of the season. And if they're going to go top 4, then we've got better goal difference the whole lot. If we go point for point with Aston Villa for the rest of the season, and they do us a favour in that way, and then we beat Villa, we get top 4.
It's a tough one. He's right. Kevin's right, and pretty much we did expect Villa to be in this running after they were 16th before Emery came in, and we did expect them to be challenging so much. Rejuvenate Ollie Watkins, who should be now in the England squad for the next.
Absolutely mad the record that Emery has done since. He came in.
I'm just looking at the fixtures for Aston Villa, for example. I mean, they've still got to play Manchester United.
Yep.
They've got a tough one soon against Fulham. They've got a big derby away at Wolves. That's always a tough one, and they've got to play Spurs as well. So
I think they will beat Spurs,
and they've still got to go to Anfield as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's and on the final game of the season, Aston Villa host Brighton.
So
that's what I mean. Like for me, I still think there's a lot of work to do, but the next 2 or 3 games, if we just get the 3 points, teams around will be playing each other. With 4 or 5 games to go, you never know. But I'm still.
We're forgetting about West Ham midweek as well.
Yeah,
everybody's going like Forest Spurs, but we're forgetting we've West Ham.
I think
between
on paper, I mean, I would say on paper it sounds easy enough, but you include Aston Villa, the only real tougher game we've got is Spurs at home, and everything else
but
very winnable.
I think you could beat Spurs now. I just feel like Spurs are Calypso. You see Stellini just done the same thing what Conte has been doing, I just can't see this Spurs team getting in the top 4. I think it's between yourselves and probably Villa now.
Leeds is a hard game away from home, Carl. You know, it's a massively hard game away from home, especially how much they attack and how much they counter attack. But it's just they've been poor the last 2 games at home, and that's the difference. They've just had a bad run, and
Jersey,
this is why I think he'll still survive with your home form going forward.
And Jersey boy, Diogo Jota waits a whole year getting 1 goal. And then his second one, you have to give him credit. It's a fantastic strike. Half volley, low, very hard for Melier to save. It's a wonderful finish.
I think a lot of people got to take into context. When you're injured, like he was injured before the season even started, I think. He was been out for such a long time. When you're out for that period of time, it's not like you can't just like that be back to normal. You've got to get fitness. You've got to get used to playing football again. And it's clear the last few games he's been playing, he's just been getting used to playing again. And today was the game. Yes, he lost the ball 50 minutes, but from what I'm seeing, Jota was playing actually quite deep. He's playing sort of like a midfielder and then going back up. So at some point I was saying Jota was going into midfield while Jones was actually playing left wing. So there's interlapping. I think it was very, very good. I think Henderson got good assist for Jota today. I think Jota today was very, very good. And I think this is Jota we all wanted to see. But again, he needed some time to get back. And this is the Jota we've been waiting for. And I'm really glad to see him. I'm really glad to see him back because we've now got a lot of options. So
do you think, just going on Jota as well, I mean, second half, I think, as Joe's boy said, he was very good. But the 2 goals he scored come pretty much from a very similar, identical place, and it was in the centre. I mean, I know there were 2 different goals in terms he made a run for the first one. The second one was more of a team build-up, and he's obviously hit a good strike. But do you think he does more of his better work in front of goal from the left, or do you think he has to play more centrally for him to get in front, get more chances to score?
I think it's better for the middle. But for me, he was playing left. He's playing left. Well, Jones was going up into left wing, and then Jota was playing kind of like a 10 at times. I think it was quite interesting. But for me, I think he plays better as a 10, not 10 as a 9, but I think he can play everywhere. I just don't think he can play right wing. So I think as long as he plays left or centre, he will do well. But I think his future is probably going to be 9 because I think Diaz and Gakpo will probably have left, and Jota will probably be back up to Nunes. But no, I do agree. I think we've got a lot of players who can play all across the front line. I think Jota's the only one who can't play all 3 positions. But
I think Lucho played right wing as well when he come on, didn't he, boys? I was saying that to Kev. Yeah. Like, so that's another option if we do rest Salah, we need to next season. It was interesting that he went straight away out down that right hand side. So it's options.
No, it was very, very good. And then obviously the 6th goal. I mean, Carl, that's 11 goals you've conceded at home in 2 games. That must be very, very concerning.
It is concerning, especially if you know. I don't know do you drop Meslier now? Do you drop him for the next 2 games? I don't know because Joel's not had much games. He was more like COVID. Clafferson is still most of the under 23. So I don't know what Grass is going to do this weekend. I think there needs to be a change. There needs to be a whole change because I think we have to be more better with this because, you know, yes, Fulham without Mitrovic won against Everton, and I think they kind of started to come back a bit. So you do kind of without Mitrovic, Fulham can still be dangerous, and that's the worrying thing at the moment. I don't know how we can stop this conceding so many goals at the moment. We know Bezier was the most conceded goal, one of the most conceded goalkeepers last season, and it's surprisingly I would say it's happened again in some form of way. You know, I just feel like he could have done better I think for the second goal, but with Salah score, but the sixth goal, I don't know. I think there's a lot of concerns that Leeds Harvey Gracie needs to question from tomorrow morning in his match review and look at where did we go really wrong. Was it again, silly plays where we don't with successful passes? There's a lot of stuff that needs to be discussed completely with the group of players because, like I said, Saturday's going to be a tough weekend for us. If we don't win against Fulham, I think it's a huge pressure. We have to beat Bournemouth and Leicester the following day games.
Yeah, I think Meslier is a very talented keeper, though, Carl. I think he's very talented keeper. He's just got
a shit defense.
Yeah, shocking defense in front of him.
Personally, I think he's a good distributor out the back. He's good with his feet. I think with the Salah goal, Carl, I think the first goal from Salah, I think that's just pure power. And for a goalkeeper's instinct, you're always expecting him to go across goal.
That's what we all thought.
I think out of all the goals tonight, I think the only one that you could maybe still say he could do slightly better was probably Jota's second.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
He got good experience on the bench. So Joe Robles, he's an FA Cup winner. He's got good Premier League experience.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't mind playing him in one or two games to go towards the end, just give Messi a rest because I think that someone needs to stamp authority to the defense. And for Messi, I can't go him. He's trying his best, but he's still young. I think someone like Joe can actually stamp authority because I think Messi doesn't have that yet. He will do in time, but I think Joe needs to be the one that may have to do it.
Well, at least you don't have what's his plus Kiko Casilla.
I don't want to know.
One of the worst keepers I think I've ever seen.
Listen.
But Kev, good to see Darwin get on the score sheet this evening.
Yeah, as per usual. I mean, that's what his talent enables him to do. He's an annoyance at the back line. He's built himself like a persona of being some sort of unattractive player, and it's not. But like now he's 3 goals off Drogba's best ever season with Chelsea.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to look at. And he's been injured a couple of times. He's been sent off, missed 3 games, and Drogba spent that season in a very, very strong Chelsea side. Yet he's now 3 goals behind Drogba in his best ever season. So tell me how he's a failure in any way, shape, or form.
It's mad. It's mad as well, Jack. There's a lot of people on social media now, like saying, because like Nunes hasn't got like Haaland's numbers, they just immediately think, he's a big flop. But I think Darwin has had to sort of get used to the Premier League. And I said at the start of the season, if he gets anything between 15 to 20 goals in all comps, I would take that.
It's been a very stop and start season, not just for Darwin, mate, but for a lot of players. In all honesty, we've seen a bit of petulance at the beginning of the year. I was sat in the ground when he done that against Palace, and you're like, "What?" But it's nerves. But you seen the goal tonight. It's such a difficult. Obviously, we can talk about the great delivery, but his movement is absolutely exceptional. The way in which he brings it down off from a difficult angle, anyway, brings it down right foot, and then manoeuvres that ball onto his left foot and just pass. Basically, it looks simple, but it's such a difficult chance to put away. He shifted it onto his left foot and just basically stroked it into the bottom corner. But yeah, it's the options as well, lads, going into next year. If we can sort our midfield out, then by Lord, if we can keep everyone fit, I tell you what, that is probably one of the best lethal attacking forces in the whole of Europe. Yes, we'll be missing Bobby, but we can potentially, obviously, we're sorting the midfield. If we got 20 quid spare, potentially go and get someone in the championship for 20 quid. But yeah, you never know.
I think just added to Jack's point, I think with Darwin's goal, I think the most important touch for me was the second touch.
Yeah.
I think how you're able to chest it down is one thing and the run, but the second touch to get it towards goal and the finish, it just doesn't give Meslier a chance to set himself or get close to the ball, and it's just he's in no man's land, isn't he? I just see, talking to Trent, I just want to add this in. So I don't know if you mentioned it before. Obviously, we heard the amount of touches he had. Obviously, 2 assists, 3 out of 4 tackles tonight from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, something that we don't really sort of mention too much about his tackling, but he was 3 out of 4 on that. couple of clearances, couple of interceptions, but the main one, which I thought was absolutely unbelievable, and it's Trent standards. He was second on the list tonight. Out of 135 passes, he completed 124 with a 92% completion. Which, if you're looking
very good.
if you're looking at midfield options and you're looking at midfield maestro performances, everyone rates on about the 90 to 95 plus averages. It's a good performance from Trent tonight.
Very good. Very good performance, as well. I am going to ask everyone this question though, because of obviously, like, we are now going into the very, very sort of last stages of the season. Of the teams that are in the relegation zone now, do we think the relegation zone will still be the same come the end of the season? So at the moment, it is Nottingham Forest, Leicester, and Southampton. Carl, what do you think?
After this weekend, probably yes. Now, I listen. I want to back my team. I'm going to back Leeds if I have to, because I know we're in a but I still back my boys. But if you see Leicester's situation at the moment, what they're going through, Southampton already gone, I think it all comes down to us and Everton. And I think Everton could just go, because I think they just cannot. I don't think there's nothing in them in that team.
I like Carl.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Luke?
I agree. I mean, Southampton for me are gone.
Yeah.
Leicester is still a very good attacking team. They've still got some good attacking players compared to the other teams in and around the table. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was a bit worried about Bournemouth, but I think Bournemouth are all right now.
Yes, I know.
Apart from Forest, the other three teams I'd be worried about is, of course, Leeds, Everton, and Forest. But I've got a sneaky feeling Everton are still going to go down this year. I hope. I know Tom's in the comments, and I
see Tom's comment right now.
Yeah. I've just seen that. He says, "I think Forest stays up and Leeds drop in the bottom three."
Of course you would, Tom.
I think Tom's right, and I think Everton go down with Leeds and Southampton. I'm afraid, Cole, defending like that, you got to be worried about it. For me, I think Southampton, Leeds, and Everton for me.
Yeah.
Mark says Forest, West Ham, and Everton. Wow.
West Ham be all right.
I think West Ham will be all right.
I was actually thinking that the fact that Bournemouth and above are safe now. I think even regarding that, I think West Ham have a game in hand, and Leeds and Everton and everybody else below them, so now they're kind of safe. So I'm thinking, unless they like capitulate and completely go down, but I'm looking at the run of form, and Fulham have been on a terrible run of form as well. But they're above 40 points, so they'll survive. They've only won one of the last 5 or 6 or something like that. They haven't won in a while. Forest are on a terrible run. They've drawn one in the last 5. They've drawn Leicester have drawn one in the last 5, and Southampton have drawn one in the last 5. So currently in there, they're the teams that are on the worst vein of form. Everton at least have won 1. Leeds have won 2 at least. So it could end up being what it is now. But Forest's home form against bigger sides have kind of kept them afloat this season, which is why I'm worried about it. Well, which is why I worry for Everton quite a bit, because I know Leeds are capable of getting a couple of win results, but Everton will probably get draws and then lose a lot. So it's just, I don't know. For me, I still think it's going to be Southampton, Leicester, and Everton.
It's the thing, isn't it? You're looking down there and you're like, oh, if a team gets 2 wins back to back. But the way everyone's playing down there, you couldn't even bloody see 3 points from the last 6 games. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be an interesting battle down there. It's not just there, but even the teams down the bottom can very much see where everyone up in the top of the table as well, top 4, top of whoever wins the league as well. All these teams, and that's what makes it more interesting, because Everton's got so much on the line. I know Southampton.
Yeah, Rob's just said there, Everton's fixture list is horrible. I'm literally going to check Everton's fixtures list.
They've got, I think they've got City at home.
The second worst, yeah.
Everton have got City at home. They've got Brighton. They've got to play. They've got 2 massive 6-pointers. They've got Leicester, which is a huge game for them.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've just seen it now. Crystal Palace away.
Tough place
that
to go.
Ain't easy.
No, look at Everton last season. Everton last season had a very similar horrible fixture list at the end and barely survived. But I don't think they can do it twice in a row.
No.
Yeah, I can't see them doing it twice in a row. They've got too many hard games. Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Leicester
Yeah,
City, Brighton, Man City, Wolves, and
Forest
Bournemouth
as
last
well.
game of the season. Yeah,
Forest have got
Forest.
a bad
Yeah.
run in as well.
yeah.
You got United. You got us away. Forest have got
Brighton at
United,
home.
Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, Chelsea, Arsenal, Palace, and Southampton.
I'm just like looking at the league tables. I mean, let's forget Southampton. Leicester are on 25 points. Do you think 35 points is enough? So for these last
I
7
actually
games-
said-
I think it's just about, but I think it might be 34 to 35. I think 35 might be just enough now because I think the way these teams are going at the moment, I just don't see them getting to near the 40-point mark or 36 to 38. I really don't. I think this is going to be really a lot lower.
Jersey boy, who do you think? Who's your three to go down?
I'm on the same as Luke and I really do feel Everton will go down. They've got nothing up front. They've literally got, I don't think Sims is good enough. Demar Gray is not a striker.
No.
Calvert-Lewin, the guy's hamstrings are made of chewing gum. He cannot stay fit for crap. If you look at that game, for example, against Fulham, there were a lot of times against Fulham, Everton should have got the second goal. They just didn't do it, and then bang, Fulham get a goal, they collapse. And I honestly believe that because they've got the thing is, you guys got to remember when they nearly went down last season, who did they have to bring them back? Richarlison.
Yeah,
they had Richarlison to bring them back. They don't have Richarlison. They've got no one up
it's
front.
the same with us as well. At Leeds, we don't have Rafinha anymore, or even Calvin Phillips. They want to do, So it's kind of what
I know. But at least you've got someone who's better than Everton as their number 9, I believe.
Shane O'Donnell said Southampton, Forest, Everton. I mean, I've looked at Everton's fixtures, and I'm questioning where they get points. I really do. I think that they're lucky. I think they probably get something off Newcastle, maybe. Leicester away is not an easy game.
I think you listen for Leeds. I think if we can get someone against Leicester and Bournemouth and probably West Ham, I think Newcastle. It's going to be tough against Man City. I'm going to write that off already because we know what's going to happen. I think it's those 4 games. I think they're going to be quicker for Leeds. The other 3, except for Spurs, it's just going to be a write-off. So I think at the moment where we stand, who's got a better fixture? Leeds just about got the best fixtures out of the bottom teams. Yes, it's worse, but we at least got the teams who are playing around us. So
Everton's away games are you've got Crystal Palace, Leicester City, Brighton,
Crystal Palace, Leicester City, Brighton, and Wolves.
Yeah.
We know we're going to give Southampton 3 points on the last day of the season.
Send Everton down.
5 own goals in the first 5 minutes.
Get in. I'm just looking at Leeds' fixture. I didn't realise their last 4 is Man City away, Newcastle home.
Yeah.
Then they've got West Ham away, and they end off at home to Spurs.
Yeah.
Them 2 games with Bournemouth and Leicester, you have to get 6 points.
We have to. And I was speaking about that to Chris about that, and I'm gonna have to do live watch over it. I will speak to him about that. If we don't win, like I said, those are the 2 games, as you said, are the most critical games in the club's history. Because I think that the rumours I said last week when I said to Doug on the Saturday show that Andrea Rezzagnani is not like he's going to buy Inter Milan. He's going to leave. That is likely going to happen regardless if we stay up. No, I think the 49ers investments will buy the club now because it looks like the more when it was concrete what Bloomer said, I thought, it's time to go because the club, the board needs to be changed, and I think there needs to be a new regime completely. So I think the years under Ortega, Kinnear, and Rezzagnani is going to be end. Hopefully, it's going to be end sooner this past season, and we just start from the scratch again. But we have to beat, like I said, we have to beat Bournemouth and bloody Leicester. Those are the 2 most important games. It's going to creep me up completely. I'm just like,
the thing is, which I'm obviously looking at now, is like I think Bournemouth are probably going to be safe. So I think you probably go to Bournemouth thinking that could be a game that they'll think they're already
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is for me, this could come down to goal difference now. Everton have
does.
a minus 22 goal difference. Nottingham Forest have a minus 32 goal difference. So it could potentially come between goal difference. But I watched Forest yesterday, and apart from Navas and goal, they don't have an awful lot.
I like Brendan Johnson.
Brendan Johnson, yeah.
But yeah, I'd agree there, Doug.
I
Similar what I said mentioned with
Forest
Carl.
home farm will
Like
save him.
it's goals, especially when you're down there this season. Like a couple of games, you just need to start scoring. Anyone down there, we've mentioned Everton with Morpie, bloody hell. Like you do. Leicester, you've got Vardy, Nacho, Maddison if he actually gets his act together. But it's if one of those teams down there in the bottom, lads, actually goes on a run, and then everyone's looking around them going, bloody hell.
I think
looking...
between Leicester and Everton are the only two teams that I think that could swap out the positions. So I think Forest could survive in their home form, but Leicester could come out of that easily if they hit a run of form, and Everton could drop into. So it could be, for me, it's either Southampton, Everton, and somebody else is what it's looking like for me. So it's either Forest or
I mean, I'm looking at Forest's fixtures, right? So they're away to Anfield on Saturday. They've got Brighton at home, Brentford away, Southampton at home. Now that could be a game that probably Southampton are probably gone already. Then it's Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, and then Palace away. So their home form might keep them up, but I doubt it.
Away from home, Palace have picked up 6 points.
Yeah.
Away from, don't get me wrong, we've picked up 15 or 16 away. But, we've just picked up another 10 points. But I think they've only scored about 6-7 goals away from home this year as well. I mean, if we lose to Nottingham Forest or draw to Nottingham Forest at the weekend, it is the most Liverpool thing to happen. Score 6 goals and then all of a sudden struggle to find a way to get past Nottingham Forest. But Keylor Navas is going to have a heroic ex-Real Madrid performance for Nottingham Forest, ain't he? No, he is. For me, I think Forest go down with Southampton and Everton. Gloop.
Everton Football Club. Yeah, but we'll obviously need to wait and see. But very, very quickly, man of the match, Kev.
Curtis Jones.
Luke.
Yeah, Curtis Jones.
Jersey boy.
I'm gonna go Salah.
Salah. Jack.
Curtis. Funny.
Yeah. Carl. Would you agree with Curtis?
Meslier, man of the match?
Meslier.
No, I don't. Listen, I think Curtis Jones. I think a lot of people was telling me last week. I think Steven and the cheap bastard telling me last week you should take Curtis Jones. I wouldn't mind that, but I think he's proven me wrong tonight. I think Curtis Jones deserved man of the match. Actually, I think the way he played tonight, I think that local do need someone like him, a local ball like him in that midfield. You can't sell someone like that.
Owen did say. There was one comment that actually made me quite laugh. He said that Curtis Jones looked like Zico tonight. There you go.
Scout Shabby, let's have it. There you go.
Scout Shabby. And Thomas going Everton. But guys, we'll leave it there. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in, especially on Jack's chat. I have actually just noticed that Jack did make a stream. So thank you very much, Jack. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, big thanks to my panel. A lovely panel this evening. Carl, obviously good luck for the rest of the season, but obviously tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, they can find me at the LH Football Pod, which we do on Twitter. I am going to do a match review of the game, this past week's games, which I'm not going to enjoy on Wednesday. I'm not going to lie to you, but as I said, you can find all of our podcasts streaming on Spotify, Google, Apple, and other podcast services.
No, absolutely. Luke, it's nice to get you back on. It's been a while, my friend. Tell the people where they can find you.
Cheers, Doug. Thanks for letting me come on. So 892 Reds TV. Obviously, you've all seen me and Ricky. Ricky's actually, I'm surprised Ricky's not in his element tonight, but Yeah, obviously we're just.
I'll be keeled over watching Curtis Jones, lad.
Oh, do you know, no, to be fair, like for being my language, Doug, he actually called him shit in the first half, and then obviously second half comes out. Oh, what a pass from Curtis Jones! That's Ricky in a nutshell. You know what he's like.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that watching it. Watching it, like, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
So yeah, obviously 892 Reds TV. We are 4 away now from 750. That obviously was our target at the end of the season. So if we can get there, 750 subscribers, obviously come over to our channel, and yeah, we've got lots of content coming up this week.
Excellent. No, it's been a pleasure to have you, Jersey boy. Thank you very much for coming on. Tell us a little bit about world of football. You're growing very, very quickly.
Yeah, well, we were 150 subscribers about like 2 weeks ago, and now we're 307. So the channel is, because we cover all the top 5 leagues, all international football, and I'm trying to just move the watch-alongs into more of like a TV style.
No, Joe, love it. Over.
Kill me now.
There's one clip all of you should watch. There's a clip, right? It's the 92nd minute, and we're actually pressing to get the ball, and Klopp looks like he's having an orgasm. It's ridiculous. It's mental. But world of football, doing lots of good stuff. No watching, unfortunately, for Forest, but lots of Champions League stuff coming up, and trying to just change the way of watch-alongs. I'm helping Coppish and all these big channels with changing their brand, and it's all about changing how football content goes forward.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you. It's been an absolute pleasure to get you all on as well. Jack, thank you very much for coming on, and also from streaming from your channel as well. It's really good. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, Anfield Road TV. Massive thank you for having me on. And obviously, Mark, as you can see, the chat has dropped all the lads' social channels. So as I said, that's what we're doing. Every single one of us support one another, help each other out. That's what it's all about on YouTube anyway. So massive thank you, lads. And it's much easier. Sorry, Carl, but it's much easier when Liverpool actually win a game of football.
I know. That's why I've took my glass off a bit since I can go by for a bit.
To be fair, he was drinking his sorrows away before, when everyone was announcing their channels. I see him drinking.
But yeah, nice. Big up, Doug. Big up everyone on the panel as well. Everyone have a lovely rest of your Monday. Good start to the weekend. Happy days.
Definitely is. And as well, Kev, Spider LFC. Thank you very much for coming on. Do tell us a little bit about the new project that you and Jack are doing.
Oh yeah, the Kitman. It's a little project I sat to myself a little while ago, but I just thought, we'd expand it, we'd move it out, and I said there's no better bukel. And for people that don't know what the word bukel means, it's an Irish word for buy. Right, so there's no better buy than come in and push it on further and turn it into a Premier League show. So it's a proper Premier League show. Carl, we'd love to get you on as a Leeds point of view, because it's not me. Like, obviously we deal a lot with Luke, and we deal a lot with Jersey Boy and yourself, Doug, when we were on the Liverpool channels, doing Spider, and especially on Anfield Road TV. But this is all about Premier League stuff. So it's myself and Jack with other members of other fans of other Premier League teams, and it's mainly going to be about that. So it won't be as much Liverpool content as you see doing this kind of stuff, but it's going to be like previews of Premier League shows, and we're going to be hosts per se, and even bringing on other Liverpool fans that are not ourselves, and staying completely biased as much as we can, doing our own content kind of that way, and still doing our own stuff on the side. So it's pretty good. And we've got sketch shows for myself and Kev as well on the side. So if any of you have ever seen our halftime talks, it's a weekly show that does that. But twice weekly, myself and Jack previews and reviews, and then
we'll be reviewing a Comedy Central. We'll just be watching them. Yeah, I like to the Ev, so that'll be good.
So, just try to laugh. Tom is just going. That's it, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, no, look, the new channel's been brilliant. We got a great response tonight when people came in. It was instantly up to 20, 30 likes or whatever the hell it was. Like, instantly, with we didn't even start anything. So that was pretty good. And, it was received well. So that's great.
Yeah, Marcus, I think he's put the link in the chat. But if you go over to my community page, I did actually share the guys' link from earlier. So please do go over and check that out, and also do give that a subscribe. Also give me a subscribe as well, and also give LH Pod a subscribe, Spider LFC a subscribe, Anfield Road TV a subscribe. 1892 Reds TV. Yes, I didn't fuck that up. And as well,
I didn't forget
community of. It's a beautiful consortium of boastful beautifulness. And I just I sound like Owen there for a second, don't I?
And also World of Football as well. But yeah, guys, it has been a fantastic show. 6-star Reds smash Leeds. Sorry, Carl.
I knew you were going to say something like that, so don't worry.
6-star. Wow, both getting deleted, says Tom.
Yeah. Come on, Carl, don't let us down.
Listen,
come on, don't let us down.
You Liverpool fans want Everton to stay. Just to be out the way, because you can't deal with not playing with like Derby.
No, they got to
so
I miss me 6 points.
He lives in a place. He lives in a place that's named after frying eggs. He's all right.
To be fair, we get 6 easy points against Leeds anyway. Like we score 6 goals as well. We can't be playing Everton no more. Yeah, man, they're in the bin.
Well, yes, yeah. Anyway, 6-star Liverpool smash Leeds 6-1 at Anfield. Are we back? Time will tell. Good night.